Good morning, Garden Holmes. Welcome to Lesson 2 in math class. You should have a number of things to be successful. You need your book open to Lesson 2, your math folder for taking notes, and then you have your 2 pieces of paper. Once again, we're working Power Up A today, but from now on, we always start with a backside. That's where the quiz is. So you have 5 questions. They come from yesterday's lesson. That's why they're numbered a little bit different. So if you would like to use the assignment from yesterday that we worked in class to help you through that, that would be awesome. When you're done with the quiz, flip it over. You have the same 4D multiplication problem. You have that problem solving. Remember, when you have that problem solving section for these first few lessons, the answer will be right in the book for you, but they're trying to teach you the steps that are necessary to get those problems solved correctly, because after about 5 lessons they won't give you the answer anymore and you'll have to try that on your own. Okay? Okay, you probably pause the video so that you get that quiz done and the fact practice. Now that you're done with that, we're going to get into the lesson where we're going to take notes in our yellow folder, and then when we get to the example problems, we'll flip that back over to the back side on that bottom half, and we'll work those example problems on the bottom half, so you're getting the practice of doing those example problems. Yesterday we learned adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, working with money. We'll do a quick review. Remember, sum, addition, difference, subtraction, product, multiplication, quotient, division. They'll be giving you those words throughout this book. So keep reviewing those lessons. And then at the end of the lesson yesterday, we had variables and evaluating those things. That's getting you introduced to working with letters to make sure you're ready to continue as we keep taking steps forward, more and more letters with algebra class. Today in lesson 2, we're talking about properties of operations. Some of these properties you know, some of these properties you do automatically without thinking, oh, I'm doing this property, but we're going to spell all those properties out, and we're going to work with them right from the beginning this year so that we get really good at doing those properties with the numbers that we're used to, so that in the future we can switch to doing these properties with letters when we switch to algebra, and we'll be able to do those things. So if you're following along on your book now, we're going to turn to page 14 where we get the start of the new lesson. My yellow math folder open to that front page where we have lesson 2, and we got some blanks to fill in today. All right, let's get going. It says addition and subtraction are inverse operations. We can undo addition by subtracting one addend from the sum. Together, the numbers are going to form this fact family. So if I'm in my notes, inverse operations, they undo each other. They're the opposites of each other. It's literally how I check math. So how do I check if my addition problem is right? I subtract it. How do I check if my subtraction problem is right? I add it. So addition and subtraction are inverse operations. Multiplication and divisions are inverse operations. They do the opposite for each other, and that's how we check those things. In the next paragraph, it says it forms those fact families. And so we say 2 plus 3 equals 5. You can switch 3 and 2 around, so 3 plus 2 equals 5. Then you just do that in reverse. 5 minus 2 is 3. 5 minus 3 is 2. And they'll have you do some of those fact families with addition and subtraction. They'll also have you work some of those fact families with multiplication and division. Okay, because I switched the order, that's leading us to the first property we're going to talk about today. Paragraph 3 says, see that both 2 plus 3 and 3 plus 2 equals 5. Changing the order of the addends does not change the sum. This characteristic of addition is known as the cumulative property of addition, and it's often stated in equation form using variables. In other words, we're going to go a plus b equals b plus a. You think of any 2 numbers you want, the order doesn't matter. That works with addition. So in my notes here, fact family using 3 numbers to form 2 addition, 2 subtraction property. Cumulative property, order doesn't matter. It works with addition, and if you look at the bottom of the page, the next thing we're going to talk about in a little bit is multiplication. So it works with addition and multiplication. It doesn't work with subtraction or division. Order matters in subtraction and division. So it's a addition and multiplication thing only. If you would like to write in your notes, write a plus b equals b plus a. It's a good idea. When we turn the page again, you're going to see they have a little chart for you. That might not hurt to copy your notes. Remember, you can add on the sides anything that's going to help you keep these things straight. Okay, property number 1 today, cumulative property. order doesn't matter. It's that when 0 is added to a number, the sum is going to be that same given number. So A plus 0 equals A. It doesn't matter what number you think of. I add nothing to it. I'm going to stay with that number. So I have it written down. Adding a number with 0 keeps the same number. It's called the identity property. Moving on, multiplication and division are also inverse operations. Dividing a product by one of its factors undoes the multiplication. So then they show you this, 4 times 5 equals 20. How do I check that's right? I divide. 20 divided by 5 equals 4. So that we could form fact families with multiplication, just like we did at the top with addition, and they give you the 4 fact problems there, 2 with multiplication, 2 with division. So once again, you see that changing the order of the factors doesn't change the product. That gives you the cumulative property of multiplication, which we already talked about with addition. Order doesn't matter with multiplication as well. And they show you that at the bottom of the page. They also show you that 20 divided by 5 does not equal 5 divided by 20. 20 divided by 5 is 4. 5 divided by 20 is 1/4. It's actually the reciprocal. We'll learn that later on. Top of page 15, we continue to move on with more properties. We have an identity property of multiplication. That's called multiplying by 1. So anytime we multiply by 1, we have that same number. It identifies it. It keeps its identity. So adding by 0, multiplying by 1. Now when we multiply by 0, everything, you have the property of 0 for multiplication. It states whatever you multiply by 0 equals 0. In the future, your book's going to like to give you big, long multiplication problems. They'll do 8 times 7 times 6 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 times 0. Don't waste your time doing all that multiplication at the beginning. If you ever multiply anything by 0, the answer is 0, and off you go. So I have in your notes the property of 0 for multiplication. Multiply anything by 0 equals 0. It always equals 0. Okay? There's a vocabulary word underneath that. It says operations of arithmetic are binary, which means you only work with 2 numbers in one step. So if I'm going to do 2 plus 3 plus 4, I know the table answer is 9. But what plus 3 is 5, 5 plus 4 equals the 9. I was doing 2 time that we add those numbers together. That's going to lead us to a property. So I'm going to keep reading for you. It says we can add 2 of these numbers and then add the other number. So in parentheses, we would do 2 plus 3 should be treated as at first. Therefore, 2 plus 3 is added, and then we add 4 to it. So lots of times you've been taught parentheses mean do that first. And we're going to learn that when I do that, it doesn't really matter. See, 2 plus 3 plus 4 equals 5 plus 4 equals 9. If I switch parentheses and I did it first, I have 3 plus 4 is 7, and 2 plus 7 also equals 9. So it didn't matter which one I did first, I still got to 9. That leads us to the property in blue in the middle of your page. It says the associative property of addition states that the groupings of add-ins doesn't change the sum. So now if you go in your notes down at the bottom, it says associative property equals grouping. Doesn't change the sum or the product. Once again, this thing works with addition and multiplication. Sometimes 6th graders like to say parentheses, or what parentheses are about. Now you got to remember, parentheses can mean a number of things in math class. Right now they're meaning how I group things. So it doesn't matter what I group together, the answer is going to be the exact same thing. That's the associative property that goes through that. And so then they show you the associative property of multiplication. Both of those they give you with letters. So A plus B in parentheses plus C equals A plus B plus C with B and C in parentheses. Please note that the order stayed the same. What we put in parentheses changed to something different. Okay? You turn your page to the last page on page 16. You have that nice little chart there. I like to just write in my notes, chart page 16. When they ask me in the future to show the cumulative property, I usually do 2 plus 3 equals 3 plus 2. And then all of a sudden your book's going to say, show the cumulative property with letters. And sometimes we panic and go, I don't know how to show it with letters. Well, that chart's done for you in letters. So you could go back to that chart if you wanted, and it would any number works. Okay, let's work the few examples there. You can see example 1, it says name each property illustrated. Remember from yesterday, dots equal multiply. So 5 times 3 equals 3 times 5. I look at the left side compared to the right side, and I realize the order's changed. Order change, cumulative property. 3 plus 4 plus 5, 3 plus 4 plus 5. Order's the same. Numbers are grouped differently. So the left is different than the right with the grouping. That's the associative property of addition. I started with 6 on the left. I ended with 6 on the right. It kept its identity. I'm adding plus 0, the identity property of addition. Multiplying by 0 equals 0. That's the 0 property of multiplication. Example B now says, hey, can you solve missing numbers and then tell me what property you used to do that? So it would look like this. The inverse of addition is subtraction, so I do the opposite of subtraction. 8 minus 8 is 0. I'm adding by 0. That's the identity property. So how did I solve this property? I use the identity property. 9 divided by 1, the inverse property, gives me an answer of 9. 1 times 9 equals 9. I'm multiplying by 1 right here. 9 on the left, 9 on the right. Identity property of multiplication. Something times a 10 equals 0. Anytime my answer is 0 in multiplication is the 0 property for multiplication. As far as your assignments are concerned, this is mainly where they're going to spend their time in example 3. They're going to say, hey, solve this problem and tell me the steps you did. So they start out with what's called the given thing. They gave you 4 times 15 times 25. Now, if I asked you to do 4 times 15 times 25, some of you would say, I can do that in my head. And here's what your brain is automatically doing with it. So the first thing we did is we switched the order. I don't like to do 4 times 15 first. I like to do 4 times 25 first. So I switched inside the parentheses the order. It was 15 times 25. Now it's 25 times 15. What allowed me to switch the order? Cumulative property. Now I said, I'm not going to do 15 times 25. I can't do that in my head. But I can do 4 times 25 in my head. So I want to put the parentheses around different numbers. I got a different group. That's the associative property. Then these last two is just doing the multiplication. But in my head, I can do 4 times 25 is 100, add 2 zeros to 15, and I have 1,500. Now, most of the time, if I said do 4 times 15 times 25, you guys would just automatically say 4 times 25 is 100 times 15 is 1,500. You're using the properties we're talking about today automatically in your head. We are just giving those properties as a way to justify them. Okay, bottom of page 17. You got a lot of letters, including one more letter on the next page. Remember, when it comes to those practice sets, feel free to do them all if it helps you. If you're a little bit fuzzy and you want some practice, get your practice there. That's what they're there for. If you're saying, hey, I think I got a pretty good grasp on this, I'm pretty confident, then we can get ready to head on to your problem set. So I'm going to erase the board and get set for the problem sets that we're going to do. And if you want to pause that and work some of those practices, it's a great idea to make sure you're ready. Okay, you should have your piece of paper with you so you can see the numbers circled. If you want extra credit in math, remember, feel free to do the other 15 that I don't have circled. Or another reminder, make sure you understand the math that we're doing as far as, do I understand the process? I'm not just getting the product. What's the answer? I want to know what steps did I do to make sure I got that. From these early lessons, we want to build this good foundation so that we can solve these problems. All right, I'm going to get started. Number 1 says this. When the product of 2 and 3 is subtracted from the sum of 4 and 5, what's the difference? Great review from yesterday with all those vocabulary words. Product means multiply, so the first thing I do is 2 times 3 equals 6. Sum means add. Second step I do is 4 plus 5 equals 9. Difference means subtract. Now I turn around and do 9 minus 6 equals 3, and I have my answer that I write over on the right-hand corner, show my work in the box on the left, write my answer in the box on the right. Skipping a few to number 4, it says, which operation of arithmetic is the inverse of addition? Opposite of addition is subtraction. Now 6, there's no work that went along with that problem, so I don't have to write anything in the book in the box on the left. Over on the right side, I write the word subtraction. We're learning inverse, meaning the opposite of. Number 6, it says for the fact family of 3, 4, and 7, we wrote 2 addition problems and 2 subtraction problems. You see them there. Now we want to do 3, 5, and 15 and do multiplication and division problems. So that would look like this. 3 times 5 equals 15. Then I change the order. 5 times 3 equals 15. I switch the order of my multiplication problem. Now I just go backwards with division. And I just literally read it like backwards. 15 divided by 5 equals the 3. This one backwards, 15 divided by 3 equals the 5. And we practice our fact families that help us get the information that we need. Number 7, list the properties used in the first and second steps to simplify those expressions. Okay, so I look, they gave me 5 plus 27 plus 35. I'll write that out for you, 5 plus 27 plus 35, and they have that in parentheses. The next line they gave you is 27 plus 35 plus the 5. Notice, same numbers in parentheses. The numbers are now in a different order. Different order tells me cumulative property. So letter A is the cumulative property. I'm going to write C-O-M-M for you. You write the whole word out. B now says, let's do it again. Next step says 27 plus 35 plus 5. And then they switch parentheses. I have two different numbers in parentheses. That makes it the associative property. And then in my head, I can do 35 plus 5 is 40. Add 40 to the 27, and I get the answer of 67. Different order, cumulative property. Different groupings, associative property. They practice that with us with number 7. Jumping to number 9, I have $1.54 times 7. Multiplication runs like this. 7 times 4 is 28, carry the 2. 7 times 5, 35, plus 2, 37, carry the 3. 1 times 7 plus 3, 10. 1, 2 decimal places, 1, 2 decimal places. $10.78. Number 11. 6th grade, welcome to the magic of splicing videos. It stopped working, so I board got erased as we should be ready for number 11. $4.36 plus 75 cents. Make sure you write it correctly with a 0. $12. You have to add a decimal point and 2 zeros, and then 6 cents is 0.06. We're going to add those all together. It's all money. So 6 plus 5 plus 6 is 17. Write the 7, carry the 1. Plus 3 is 4, plus 7, carry the 1. 1 plus 4 plus 2 is 7. 1 plus nothing is 1. Decimal point straight down in addition. Dollar sign, $17.17 for number 11. Moves us to number 12. Number 12, we have parentheses, which says do it first. So I start with a $4.89, and the first thing I'm going to do to it is add 74 cents to it. So I do 9 plus 4 is 13, carry the 1. 1 plus 8 plus 7 is 16. Carry the 1. 1 plus 4 is 5. Decimal point, dollar sign, I have $5.63. Go to the beginning and say, take your answer and subtract it from the $10. So I have $10 minus $5.63. Cross out the 10, make it a 9. Cross out the 10, 9. Decimal straight down, 9, 4, answer of $4.37. Number 14 says, let's do a division problem. 3,105 divided by 15. 15 goes into 31 twice. Multiplied 30, subtracted 1, bring down 0. 15 does not go into 10. Goes in there 0 times. Don't forget that 0. 0 times 15 is a 0. 10 minus 0 is 10. Bring down the 5. 15 goes into 105 7 times. Multiplied it together is 105. Subtract, get a 0. The division quotient is 207. Turning it over, we got problem number 16. I have parentheses, which means do it first. So the first thing I'm doing is 9 divided by 3 is 3. Then I'm taking that answer and going to the beginning, which was 81 divided by that 3. Twice, 6, subtract 2, bring down 1. 3 goes in there 7 times. I got an answer of 27. Number 17, same numbers, different numbers in parentheses. Let's see what happens. Step 1, 81 divided by 9 gives me 9. 9 divided by 3 gives me 3. Notice different answers. Now what 16 and 17 showed us is there's no associative property of addition. There's no associative property of division. I got 2 different answers, same numbers, different groupings, different answers. Okay. Next one we're doing is number 20. 20 kind of went along with 19. It's showing you, just like we did here, that there's no associative property of subtraction. So if you would have had to do number 19, you would have got an answer of 2,795. I'm just going to write that down. That would have been your answer for 19. Let's see what we get for 20. Step 1, take 3,167 and subtract 450 from it. 7 minus nothing is 7. 6 minus 5 is 1. Borrow, 11 minus 4 is 7, 2 minus nothing is 2. Then I take that and subtract 78 from it. Borrow becomes a 0 and 17, 17 minus 8 is 9. Borrow becomes a 6 and a 10, 10 minus 7 is 3. 6 minus nothing is 6, 2 minus nothing is 2. I have 2,639. You can see different answers between 19 and 20. No associative property of subtraction. Next one is 23. 23 is a big addition problem. We just have to make sure we line things up. 3,714 plus 268 plus 47 plus 9. 4 plus 8 is 12, plus 7 is 19, plus 9 is 28. Carry the 2. 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 6 is 9, plus 4 is 13. Carry the 1. 1 plus 7 is 8, plus 2 is 10. Carry the 1. 1 and 3 is 4. I have 4,038. Number 25 says do the addition first. 8 plus $1.47 gives me $9.47. Take that answer and subtract 20 on the top, 947 on the bottom. Have to borrow all the way across. Have 10 minus 7 is 3. 9 minus 4 is 5. Decimal straight down. 9 minus 9 is 0. 1 minus nothing is 1. And I get an answer of $10.53. Number 27, which property can be used to find each missing number? I look at A, I have 10 times something equals 0. Anytime I'm multiplying by 0, I have the 0 property. B says 10 times what would equal 10? That's the multiplying by 1. That's the identity property. So they're just showing you that in problem form where you're identifying those properties. And 28 is math, where we are evaluating the expressions. They tell us x equals 18 and y equals 3. The first thing they want me doing is subtracting those. 18 minus 3 is 15. The next thing they want me doing is multiply 18 times 3. Carry the 2, 3 times 2 is. They want me doing is dividing those. 18 divided by 3 equals 6. And the last thing they want me doing is adding those. 18 plus 3 equals 21. If you want some extra credit, feel free to do the other 15 problems. Congratulations on lesson number 2.